Warm greetings from the High 10. It is Everyday Shenanigans on this Friday, July 3rd, 2020. Would like to wish all of you a happy 4th of July and have a safe weekend. And I have an update to the female soldier who was missing at Fort Hood, and I would like to bring you that said information. Sadly, it's a very disturbing story. This is a weekend for people gathering and having fun with people, fireworks, children playing, swimming pools, just enjoying yourselves. But instead, a family is having to face the reality that their loved one was murdered. This is tragic. Death is tragic nonetheless, no matter when the season is. But I want to bring you this set information by CNN News. I will also be bringing you alternating updates pertaining to this story as well in another article, so just bear with me as I log over to the other site when I'm done with this said article. If you need verification for the story, CNN is the source. Private First Class Vanessa Guillen, bludgeoned to death on Army base, family attorney says. Fort Hood Private First Class Vanessa Guillen was bludgeoned to death with a hammer in the armory room where she worked, an attorney for Guillen's family said on Thursday. Guillen's body was transported from the military installation by her killer. Attorney Natalie Kawan told CNN, citing details the family learned during a meeting with Army investigators on Wednesday night. The main suspect in disappearance was identified by officials on Thursday as SBC Aaron David Robinson. Kawam said the family told her that Guillen had planned to file a harassment complaint against Robinson the day after she was killed, and that they believe Robinson became enraged when she told him that. So that's interesting information. Okay, so she was filing a harassment complaint against Robinson the day after she was killed. Okay. Fort Hood officials said they were not aware of reports of sexual harassment involving Robinson, but the investigation was ongoing. Robinson, 20, killed himself on Wednesday after police confronted him in Guillen, according to U.S. Army Criminal Investigation Command, which calls itself CID. He fled Fort Hood late on Tuesday. While law enforcement agencies attempted to make contact with the suspect in Guillen, Texas, Specialist Robinson displayed a weapon and took his own life, CID Senior Special Agent Damon Phelps said at a news conference on Thursday. Robinson and Guillen, though co-workers, were located in different buildings. He was not in her line of command, Phelps said. Robinson was not in CID custody at the time he fled the installation. Phelps said investigators were looking into Robinson's interactions with Guillen. He said there was no credible information Guillen had been sexually harassed or assaulted. He said investigators had conducted more than 300 interviews in the case. And there's also a photo of Mr. Robinson, David Robinson, who was a suspect, now deceased by suicide, and he is an African-American male, if you did not know. Robinson, from Illinois, entered the Army in October 2017. Kawan said investigators told the family that Robinson called a woman he was involved with to help him dispose of Guillen's body after moving it outside the base. Texas Rangers also arrested a civilian suspect in connection with Guillen's disappearance, according to CID. The suspect has been identified as Cicely Ann Aguilar, the estranged wife of a former soldier from Fort Hood. She is in Bell County Jail awaiting civilian authorities to press charges, CID said. Guillen, 20, was last seen in the parking lot of her barracks at the Texas Army base on April 22nd, CID said. Before Guillen went missing, she told her family that she was being sexually harassed by one of her sergeants at Fort Hood, according to a website her family set up to promote the search. The sergeant wasn't identified. Early Wednesday, U.S. Marshals, Guillen Police, and the Lone Star Fugitive Task Force located the soldier suspected in Guillen's disappearance, CID said. He had left his Fort Hood post. The authorities confronted him walking along a commercial and residential thoroughfare on the northeast side of the city, a few miles from base. As officers attempted to make contact with the suspect displayed a weapon and discharged it toward himself. The suspect succumbed from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, the Guillen Police Department said in a news release. On Wednesday, Guillen's sister Myra said she had met the soldier suspected in the disappearance of her sister. When I first went up to that base, that subject, I met him, not knowing that he had something to do with it. I felt something was telling me that he did something, and I wasn't wrong, apparently, Myra Guillen said. And apparently now he kills himself. Why? I don't know. But whoever is responsible has to pay, and we demand a congressional investigation, she added. This came just hours after investigators discovered on Tuesday the partial remains of a body near the Leon River in rural Bell County, where Guillen is located. While authorities have not confirmed it, Guillen's family believes the remains belong to their missing loved one, they said at a news conference. Phelps said the remains have not been positively identified. The investigation into Guillen's disappearance is separate from another into her family's chain that she was sexually harassed. The remains were found in a shallow grave and search operations were suspended pending identification, said Tim Miller, the director and founder of Texas EquiSearch. Due to her time in service, Guillen was promoted to specialist on Wednesday, according to the Fort Hood website. Okay, another soldier found. Authorities discovered the remains about 26 miles from the site on June 19th. Investigators found the body of Private Second Class Gregory Waddell Morales, who went missing last year while driving in Guillen. He was scheduled to be discharged within days of his disappearance, the Army said. It's unclear whether there's a connection between Guillen and Waddell Morales, but Army investigators say there is no credible information linking the cases. Foul play is also suspected in Waddell Morales' death, and the Army is offering a $25,000 reward for information. The Army League of United Latin American Citizens and Houston rapper Baby Bash has pulled together a $55,000 reward for information on Guillen's disappearance. After Guillen went missing in April, her car keys, room key, identification card, and wallet were found in an Army room where she was working that day. Our hearts are broken. We feel pain, frustration, and devastation. This shouldn't have happened. We demand a congressional investigation. We demand the truth, Kawam said in a statement. If this could happen to Vanessa, this can happen to any one of our sisters, daughters, and mothers. There's no reason why a young, beautiful girl who joined the Army to honorably serve our country should be in a shallow grave near our own turf. And this news is by CNN. Okay, so the suspect has been arrested. One suspect killed himself. The other suspect is identified as believed to be a Caucasian female. I don't know. She could be Hispanic. Married Hispanic. I don't know. But her name is Cicely Ann Aguilar. Her photo is in this said commentary. She's not a pretty girl, I will say that. I know that sounds mean, but just saying. Because, you know, I'm being mean right now, considering what she did to that girl, helping dispose of her body, and God knows what else. So, her picture is in this said article. Mr. Robinson, the gentleman who killed her, is also, his photo is in this article as well. Now I'm going to go over and pull up another article pertaining to another soldier that was missing. And oh Lord Jesus, it doesn't stop. It just doesn't stop at all. It's just like, what in the world's going on? Just bear with me for just a second. I'm trying to pull up the information. Okay. And just the title of how they bludgeoned this child, using the word hacked up, is just, man, this is just cruel. Okay. Hold on one second. I wanted to see what else I could bring up about the other gentleman who went missing. And it's not pulling up like it did earlier. But this is very heinous. Okay. I'm trying to see. It won't bring up the other gentleman that was found. Missing. Well, as you see, another gentleman went missing, was found by his car, and the Jeep was burned. Now, as they state, they don't know if this gentleman who went missing was also has anything to do with this case. But this is just a very weird, it's a lot of weird stuff going on here at Fort Hood. And the sister made a claim in an article that over 200 soldiers have gone missing from Fort Hood. I do not know if that is an accurate account, but this just seems very weird to me if all these people are going missing. But anyway, I'll just stick to this one said commentary. So, I don't even know what to say. This is just crazy to me. So all this time when I was using the word former soldier, because that's what they were stating in the articles, former soldier. I guess they gave him that title, former soldier, because he's deceased, I'm assuming. And what I'm trying to understand is this girl who was arrested for her murder as an accessory or whatever. This is just, was she dating another soldier, or was she okay, she was married I'm trying to understand the guy who did the killing, the African-American male, Mr. Robinson, who's accused of murdering Miss Guillen. Was she also married to him at one time, or was she married to another soldier? Let me give you this update for Channel 2 News, WBAY, out of Texas. Cicely Ann Aguilar, 22, of Guillen, who's accused of helping her boyfriend dismember and bury the body of Fort Hood Special Vanessa, Guillen, 20, was transferred from Bell County to McLennan County to face federal charges. She arrived at the McLennan County Jail on State Highway 6 early Friday afternoon. She's scheduled for an initial appearance before a U.S. magistrate judge at 11 a.m. on Tuesday. A chilling federal affidavit released late Thursday afternoon says Aguilar's boyfriend, Special Aaron David Robinson, of Calumet City, Illinois, beat Guillen with a hammer and that her body was later dismembered and burned. Robinson shot himself in the head early Wednesday morning in the 4700 block of East Rancier Avenue as Guillen officers approached him. He died at the scene. Authorities later arrested Aguilar, the estranged wife of a former Fort Hood soldier, identified in the affidavit as Robinson's girlfriend. She's charged with tampering with evidence with intent to impair a human corpse, according to online records. Guillen was last seen sometime between 11:30 a.m. and 12:30 on April 22nd in the parking lot of her 3rd Cavalry Regiment Engineer Squadron headquarters. Keys to her car in her baggage room and her ID card and wallet was later found in the armory room where she had worked earlier in the day. The affidavit filed in Aguilar's case says on April 22nd, Guillen left the room in which she was working to visit the arms room that Robinson controlled to confirm serial numbers of weapons and equipment. So it states here that in this Miss Aguilar's account, affidavit, that Guillen left the room in which she was working to visit the arms room that Robinson controlled to confirm serial numbers of weapons and equipment. So Miss Guillen went into a room where Robinson worked. Robinson, who was one of the last people to see Guillen, told investigators Guillen checked several serial numbers, and he then gave her the paperwork and serial number of a .50 caliber machine gun that needed repairs, the affidavit says. So he gave Miss Guillen paperwork. He said she left the arms room and he believed she would have gone next to the motor pool. But soldiers there told investigators she never arrived, the affidavit says. Aguilar initially told investigators that she was with Robinson all night on April 22nd, but on June 30th, she admitted that Robinson told her he struck a female soldier in the head with a hammer multiple times at his arms room, killing her on Fort Hood, the affidavit says. Special Robinson then placed her in a box and moved the box to a location near the Leon River, the affidavit says. The witnesses told investigators they saw Robinson pulling a large wheeled tough box out of the arms room in which he worked, load it into his vehicle, and drive away, the affidavit says. Late on April 22nd or early on the morning of April 23rd, Robinson picked up Aguilar at a gas station and took her to the site near the river. the affidavit says. Robinson walked Aguilar over to the woods and opened up a box for Aguilar, and she saw a dead female inside the box. Aguilar on a later date identified the dead female as Vanessa Guillen, the affidavit says. To more easily dispose of and to conceal the body of the dead female, Special Robinson and Aguilar proceeded to dismember the dead female's body. They used a hatchet or axe and a machete-type knife. They removed the limbs and the head from the body. Special Robinson and Aguilar attempted to burn the body. Excuse the language. However, the body would not burn completely. They placed the dead female in three... Okay. Okay. Wow. They placed the dead female in 3 separate holes and covered up the remains. The two returned to the site on April 26, uncovered the remains, and continued the process of breaking down the remains, which were burned again. Lord have mercy. Come on. Cell phone records show that both Robinson and Aguilar were near the Leon River together on April 23rd and again on April 26th, the affidavit says. Authorities searched the area on June 21st and discovered a burn site and what appeared to be the burned remains of a plastic tote or tough box in an area near where Robinson's phone was pinged. 9 days later, on June 30th, contractors working on a fence along the river discovered what appeared to be human remains. Investigators searched the area and identified scattered human remains that appeared to have been placed in a concrete-like substance and buried. The remains have not yet been confirmed to be Guillen's. The affidavit does not suggest a motive for the killing. Robinson was assigned to Alpha Company 3rd Cavalry Regiment at Fort Hood. He was not Guillen's supervisor, but did work in a building adjacent to where Guillen worked, Fort Hood CID Special Agent Damon Phelps said during a news conference earlier Thursday. An investigation into allegations that Guillen, who was promoted to the rank of specialist on July 1st, was sexually harassed continues, Fort Hood Senior Commander Major General Scott Flat said during the news conference, but so far authorities have made no connection between the allegations and her disappearance. The investigation, he said, has not found any connection between sexual harassment and Vanessa's disappearance. However, all sexual harassment allegations are being investigated in this case, as they are in every other instance, because sexual harassment is categorically adverse to our Army values. Yeah, okay. And Flat said he regrets he wasn't able to address all of Guillen's family's concerns. What I was able to share was tempered by my responsibility to protect the integrity of the investigation so we could find Vanessa and prosecute those responsible for this travesty and be in a position to punish them. Vanessa Guillen is a loss for all of us, he said. Fort Hood and DNA and dental records are being used to make a positive identification of the remains. Secretary of the Army Ryan McCarthy, in a Facebook post Friday, asked for patience as state, federal, and military authorities work to find the truth and bring justice for Vanessa and her family. And you can read that said social media post in here. Meanwhile, the Army announced a 7-member Inspector General team was sent to Fort Hood to review the post-sexual harassment, assault, response, and prevention, named SHARP program. The 7-member team is reviewing the program's implementation, assessing whether the command climate is supportive of soldiers reporting incidents of sexual harassment and sexual assault, and identifying any potentially systemic issues with the SHARP program at Fort Hood, as well as any resource constraints. The press release did not indicate whether the review was prompted by Guillen's disappearance. Guillen's family alleges Guillen was the target of sexual harassment on post. Guillen's sister Mayra, during an emotional news conference on Wednesday morning in Washington, D.C., said in Spanish she earlier met Robinson and said he laughed in her face when she asked about Guillen. Family members and their attorney are demanding answers from post officials about what happened to Guillen. Supporters have launched petitions on change.org calling on officials to hold the Army accountable and to close down Fort Hood altogether. By early afternoon Thursday, each had more than 200,000 signatures. If you need verification for the story, please log on to ABC2News, WBAY.com. Sorry this was winded because I was trying to find a story on the other guy who was found deceased. But as you see, something is going on with this place, this Fort Hood, this Army base. Issues of other men, women missing. I don't know what's the truth about that, but I will bring you an update shortly after I get off of here and do my research. The fact that he was on base with her, worked in a room near where she worked. My thing is, come on. They all walk by each other at some point and see each other. They're human. They're going to speak, not speak. Something went on between these two. What went on, I do not know. Did they date? Did they court? Did they mess around? Was he making sexual advances, overt advances toward her? She was trying to be civil. What? I do not know, because the dead tells no tales. Only social media posts and phone records may reveal something transpired between the two, or there was an issue between the two. So we will wait to see, and I will bring you that said information. But nonetheless, the part that bothers me the most, no matter what went on between the two, is neither here nor there. She went into the military. She was on base and gets bludgeoned to death on base by another soldier, and gets escorted off that base in a damn box and put into his vehicle and taken to a river, where he, before the river, meets up with his girlfriend, and they go to town on this young lady, excuse my French, hacking her up in tiny pieces and putting her in different holes. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? Because this is crazy to me. This is crazy to me. And it wouldn't matter if they lived 2 blocks from each other in Texas, in the town, knew each other, dated, whatever. The fact is, how in the hell this girl gets, I don't want to use the wrong word because I don't want to offend her family, cut up like this on a base? And yet everybody's, I don't know what happened, and I don't know anything, and I didn't see anything. You know, all this la-di-da type buffoonery. Yeah, I'm hyped and I'm pissed off, because I am a woman. I am a female. And this young lady went into the military to serve our country. Due diligence. Do what she thought was right for her, and look what it got her. Now, can't nobody tell me this ain't no jacked up, messed up situation. Because really, there are no words to describe a woman being cut up and put in tiny holes near an army base where she was stationed by another military member. And I need to get information on who this young lady is who helped with disposing of the body, dismembering the body, if she was married, who she was married to, who was that former person. Because this is some wild, wicked mess here. And due to the fact that they said they tried to burn her, well, let me throw at you the fact that the other guy who was found missing remains, his Jeep was burned. Now, I don't know if there's any correlation to this young lady, Miss Guillen, but I find it awfully odd. Everybody's getting burned up at Fort Hood. Yeah, I said it and don't care. It's sickening. This guy's found by his Jeep burned up. Now, months later, here comes this young lady. She's dismembered and put in several holes by a river and was attempted to be burned as well. This is messed up. This is sick. Sorry I brought you the sad, tragic news, but this is the latest update pertaining to Miss Guillen. I will bring you more information. I know her family, they are beside themselves, because I'm beside myself just repeating this. I almost thought I was going to gag just repeating what they did to this young lady. This is horrific. God bless America. But the U.S. military, army, whatever, y'all got some work to do, because they talk about closing that place, getting petitions. Yeah, you need to close it all the way down. Matter of fact, burn it down, because it don't even need to stand. For this to happen to anyone, even if it was a male, it's heinous. No one should get burned, beat up, whatever, on a base. Period. Period. And then to be discarded like trash, chopped up, and put in holes by a river. Come on now. God bless America. Prayers for this family. Like, share, subscribe. Drop your comments below. Please leave your comments below. I will be bringing you another update. Thanks a lot. This is Everyday Shenanigans. Happy 4th of July weekend. Amen.